Hey, it's Craig with Millwood Holdings, EscapeTheHOA. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what exactly does it take to move to a piece of property, to move onto your own land to escape the HOA? A couple things that I'll run through with you real quick is, number one, you need to have the will or the desire. It's not something that you choose to do on a whim. It's not something that's exactly easy to do. There's a lot of moving pieces. There are a lot of decisions to be made. There are a lot of things to be picked out and chosen, especially when it comes to a house. So you have to have the will and the desire to actually see it through. I would encourage you to make a list, whether it be an actual list or just a mental list, of all of the reasons that you would like to do it. Perhaps you want privacy. Perhaps you want to raise your kids outdoors. You want to have the freedom to free range your kids, as I say, for them to roam and for them to learn on their own. Maybe you want to be able to entertain and have a lot of room to do that. Maybe you want to have outdoor parties, or you want to maybe have events that are held at your place. Or you just want sheer privacy. You just want to disappear from the world when you pull down your driveway and not have anybody near or around you seeing what you're doing, much less telling you what to do. That's probably the number one reason that people choose, is that they really just want privacy. They want to have their own life, and they want everybody else to kind of stay out of it unless they invite them in. This is a piece of property that we've done recently, and as you'll see, the driveway goes on for quite a ways. At the other end of the driveway behind me is a set of gates that you have to have a code to get into, or a garage door opener, in your car. Once you come down that driveway, you start to twist and turn until you can't see the road anymore. You can't see the house from the road. You can't see the road from the house for where the house would go. Once you're back here, it's just complete privacy. This is the home site, kind of at the end of the driveway here, where I would put the house, is up there, and there's a great spot for a basement. So this is just an example of being out in the middle of nowhere. That noise that you hear is us running a machine where we're clearing out some of the brush to make it a little more open. So the first thing is the will, the desire. The second thing is coming up with your budget, determining how much total can you spend on land and house. And I'm not trying to be a salesperson by telling you this, but just the reality is you need to come up with as much budget as possible. It costs a lot of money to buy land. It's not a cheap thing. And it costs to build. It's not a cheap thing. But if you're going to be somewhere for the next 20, 30 plus years, it is a lot better to spend the money now and enjoy it for the rest of your life than it is to cut yourself just short of what you really want and never actually get it. I can tell you from personal experience. I went looking for 10 acres many years ago and bought a whole lot more, which, if you've seen my other video, you'll know that that led me into becoming a land developer. So that's not everybody's path, but I bought way more land than what I thought I could afford, and I managed to afford it, and I loved it, and my kids loved it. They were raised there partially, and then we moved away to another 10-acre-ish property where they continue to be raised, and it's just fantastic. So come up with a budget and figure out how you can really come up with the budget that's going to be needed in order for you to achieve what you want. The house is probably the biggest part of what you're going to spend. Even though the land can be a lot of money, you'll probably spend more on the house than you will on the land. You can determine what land prices are for whatever's available, or for whatever project we happen to be working on at the time. But you'll take your land price, you'll add to it what you think it's going to cost to build, and you'll come up with, in reality, what you'll need to spend in order to make it work. I will say that if you need to save on your budget, there are a couple of ways you can do it. You can build less of a house, or you can build more of a barn-dominium that's more of a shell that you can finish further later. That's an option on saving money there. And on the land, you can save some money by considering moving further out. The further away from the town center you get, the cheaper land gets. And you can get more land for the money, or you can get the same land for less money. So that is an option. But if you want to be right in town, or you want to be close to town, then you have to pay what land is going for. So you just have to kind of make the choice that you're going to come up with the budget and you're going to make it work. The third thing is financing, and how you go from where you are to where you want to be. The first thing that you'll want to do is talk to a lender. And we have several lenders that we like to connect our buyers to, and you can certainly choose your own. And there are two different types of ways to finance. The first way is a straight land loan, where you put anywhere from 20 to 35% down, and it depends on the lender as far as what their program is. But I've got a few that we refer that are 20% down. And then you finance that land for a long period of time and make payments. And you can choose to enjoy it recreationally, you can camp on it, you can put a shed or a shop or whatever you'd like to put on there, and you can begin to enjoy the property. Some people may even live in their camper on their property, and then you can build later. The second way to do it is get what they call a construction to permanent loan, or construction to perm. The way that works is you get approved for the final project, the land and whatever you're going to build, and you put a down payment down with the bank for whatever your down payment will be on the final loan, and then they open a construction loan. They fund the purchase of the property into the loan, and then they fund the building of the home into the loan. And when done, they roll it immediately into a permanent financing loan. If you know what you want to build and you're ready, it is a fantastic way to do it. The transition is the last thing that I would say that you need to consider. And that is, if you need to sell the house that you're in, and you need to buy the land and build the new house, how do you sequence all of that? Typically, a buyer is going to need to sell their current home before they can begin buying and moving into the new scenario, buying the land, building the house. What a lot of buyers will do is they'll either live with family, rent a house, or probably a third of my buyers will literally live in the camper that they own, or they'll buy a camper and they'll live in a campground, or they'll find someone's property they can live on, or they'll get their property that they're buying ready and they'll live there until they get their house done. Now, there is the letter of the law with the counties on living in campers, and then there's the practicality, and there's some differences there, and I'd be glad to explain those. But nevertheless, there are multiple ways that you can go about that. But a lot of buyers do sell their home, take their equity, and begin their new journey. The way that we work, since our mission is to help families escape the HOA and achieve their dreams of living on land, is we want to understand your goals, we want to understand your obstacles, and we want to walk with you through every bit of that. If it takes a little more time for you to pull things together, we want to work with you on that time. If it takes connections, we want to help make those connections. If it takes advice, we want to give you that advice. Our goal is to sell land at the end of the day, but our mission is to help families achieve their dreams. That doesn't always mean buying land from us, and that doesn't always mean that it's going to be quick. But nevertheless, we want to help you. So one final thought is, keep in mind that this needs to be an adventure. It is a journey. It is not quick. But when you're living in God's creation, and you can look out your back porch and see nature, look off your back porch and see nature, and you can let your kids run around and free range and have fun, and you have privacy, there's nothing like it. So I encourage you to think about it, pray about it, consult friends, family, us, certainly. We're glad to help. And if it's something that you want to do, we would be glad to be a part of your journey. We would be glad to give you advice and help you achieve your dreams of living on land and escape that HOA. Have a great day.